Hi everyone, I am Jean Vernade. I am from Solvay company. It's a Belgium company, headquartered in Brussels, and I am within the digital team as a platform engineer. And for this project, I play the role of a project manager. So I will present you a project of carve-out that we did with the SNP team. And the purpose of this project is to split the company into two different entities, okay? The first one being Solvay, okay, that's the initial name of the group. So what stays in Solvay is 5 business units with a leading position in soda ash, peroxide, silica for tired, Coatis it's solvent, and special chem in the rare earths for car automotives. And the other part of the company, which now has become a different and completely separate entity, the name is Sciences Co, which is more into advanced materials with specialty polymer. Composites, they are doing carbon material that goes into plane and expensive cars. Healthcare, aroma, technology solution, and oil and gas. The company, the two sides are about equivalent. Okay, Sciences Co is a bit more higher in terms of turnover, but the size of the business operation are somehow similar. And why this split into two different companies? It's because the market dynamics are different. For Solvay, it is more resilient, relying on a product portfolio that moves slowly, whereas for Sciences Co, innovation is really at the heart of their business, and they need to constantly have a brand new product on the market to fight with competition. They also require higher investment. The name of this separation program is Power of Two. And I will speak today about the phase 2, which is represented in orange color on this chart. Now we are in a phase that the logical carve-out is behind us, and we are now completely splitting physically all our IT, meaning we need to be fully independent in terms of software, hardware, services, contract with all our ecosystem by December 2025. And in fact, we target to be also ready in a little bit less than 1 year from now as for our ERP, so meaning that we will have an ERP working for Sciences Co in their own AWS landing zone by May 2025, in 11 months from now. And today, situation is that most of the IT staff is still within Solvay, and we provide a service to Sciences Co team via a transactional service agreement. And this transactional service agreement will end by December 2025. So Sciences Co has to be completely autonomous by then with all the contract and their own internal staffing. Okay, so now I will focus on what happened in between October 2022 and July 2023. It's where we went live with so-called day one. Okay, so day one is beginning of July 2023. And what we had to do is we had to isolate within SAP all within SAP structure, meaning company codes, plant, sales org, the data belonging to Solvay and the data belonging to Sciences Co. So in fact, when we had within one legal entity mixed businesses, we had to create additional company code, additional plant, additional sales org, and to move the data from one structure to another. And in fact, in SAP, you will see with the detail afterward, it's a lot of work. It meant 23 significant carve-outs in 15 countries. And among these, we managed 14 of them with S&P. Why? Because in some other cases, we were moving things across different SAP instances. And in those cases, S&P could not help that much. So there were also some work that we did, I would say, the old way. In terms of scope of object that we have migrated, it's a combination of master data and transactional data. So in common data, you will have the usual material, customer, vendor, okay, the three main master data. Then in terms of finance, we had to deal with asset master, IFRS contract. What we call IFRS is a long lease contract that has to respect the IFRS accounting rule. And in SAP, we use something that was not at all built for this. Initially, it's a real estate module where we manage those contracts. And then more classically, FI, account receivable and accounts payable open item. Procurement was an important part of the scope with all the master data plus the purchase orders. We had also plant maintenance, quality management in scope, productions. For production, we did not move any transaction data because production order, they are not living long, so we only converted the master data. For sales, all the master data plus the whole complexity of sales order, deliveries, and transport documents. And for inventory, all the stock managed either with MM plus lean WM or with full WM in some plants. Okay, this is how the planning look. So we had 4 test cycles, and this was really required to have 4 test cycles. And we needed also to have one very early test one in a sandbox to convince our internal team or internal, I would say, SAP expert that S&P was bringing a lot of value in this conversion process, because we did many carve-out in the past, not of this size for sure, but some of our experts believe that we had internally enough knowledge and tool set to manage properly this huge carve-out. I was myself preferring to have a more industrial aspect of the data conversion, and wanted to gain experience from S&P with their own software. But at the beginning, there was a lot of challenge, and it took a while before engaging a full collaboration in between our internal team and S&P consultant. So we had 3 test cycles plus a dry run, okay? And in fact, we had suspense until the end because we have some data issue, not on all the functional aspects, but we had one domain, the sales and logistics, that was a little bit behind, where we didn't know until the last minute if we would be able to convert perfectly all the documents. And finally, it turned out to be a full success, but okay, we fought until the dry run to really put under control this project. After day 1, we had also another period where we do some little conversion. I won't describe this today, but we also use the service of S&P during this time frame where to reach spin-off. And spin-off is a time where, in fact, the separation in between the two companies was completely fully decided. And by spin-off, we had completely independent company with their own shareholders. Now I will focus a bit about the S&P software, okay, because it's offering some interesting options. So the first option is the one we have used in the past, which is via posting via the SAP standard transaction. And so it's a batch input technology, for instance. And this was required for some conversion, such as inventory, and for most financial transaction because of auditing. Okay, you need for finance topic to have a good traceability of what was done, and you need to do, I would say, the usual way. Whereas for the other object, it was more open to use table-based migration, and in this option, which is only available with Crystal Bridge S&P software, you update directly the SAP table without going through the application layer to do check to customizing and so forth. So this is really powerful. Okay, this could be seen as the hand of the devil by some expert in SAP, because you're kind of forcing the data update without the proper check, but it allows to do things faster and with more flexibility. And using table-based migration approach, you can either duplicate the record, which is what you do for most of the data, and for master data is mandatory, because if you update your master data, then if you want to check the historical data, it's not working anymore because the view are not there. And in some cases, we use update existing record option. For instance, for the sales order, it's possible to change the sales organization or a plant code within the sales order, and you don't have to duplicate it and then to delete the previous sales order if you don't need to. So this was really powerful. And for the sales order, it was really a good business, I would say, advantage, because in the past carve-out, sales order creation is quite complex in SAP, and we didn't have any sophisticated program to create automatically sales order from previous structure. So we were asking business sales representative to rekey new sales order in the new structure. So we saved this effort from them with this Crystal Bridge software. I included in my set of slides this I would say more technical picture of the coming from S&P, and it shows you how it works. So you have a source system and a target system. In our case, it was the same, because we just created new set of data or change data in the same SAP system. So you have the export phase, and then you re-import, and the control system or solution manager, which is the module that is managing all our transport from one environment to another. So it's not adding anything. And then the S&P software is using some local storage in a SAP server to put the temporary files that are then re-injected in the target. So benefit, as I was mentioning in previous slide, is that it's fast table-based without using application check, and that's why it's faster when you are really short in time during the cutover to limit the business on time. So that's an important fact. It's flexible to adjust in terms of error. So if you don't have like everything perfect, you have 98% of the data well transformed, and you have to adjust the 2 remaining percent. You don't have to redo it from scratch by restoring the data. You can still work on the remaining 2%. downtime reduction, that was a key asset. And overall, okay, it proved to deliver good quality and high efficiency. Now I have this slide to explain where we stand at the moment. So we are continuing to work with S&P after this good experience for the physical separation. So right now it's a bit easier because we have all the data that are well split into company code that are belonging either to one company to another. And as you know, in SAP, everything relates to finance in the end. So it's a clear cut. And what we are doing at the moment, we are taking a set of company code to move them into a brand new SAP system that we are building in another environment. So we are really in the middle of it. And at the moment, as I speak to you, we are going through the first test cycle. So we will check next week what are the results of the first extraction onto the Sciences system. And we also increase the scope of service with S&P to include BW that was kept aside for the carve-out logical project, and also GTS and SRM that are satellites that are ABAP-based satellites. So that's the scope of systems that Crystal Bridge can work in. It has to be ABAP-based. And the plan, as I mentioned before, is to go live for this physical separation by May 2025. As a conclusion for the logical carve-out, I would say that in fact, the rules were really complex in the end, and I did not anticipate this complexity because from the top of my head at the beginning, I thought that this logical carve-out could be really straightforward, but it was really, really crazy complex. And I can give you an example with a purchase order document, depending on the assignment, whereas it's on stock, on cost center, on a WBS, on a lease contract. The rules can be different, so you are ending with a lot of sub-cases. And we have many, many adjustments to those rules that made our S&P consultant crazy. And at the moment, say, okay, you need to put more stability and to freeze the rule before each test cycle so we can put that under control. So this is a good lesson that, okay, don't underestimate the complexity of the rule set in logical carve-out. It can be really, really complex. Then test. You never test enough, that's for sure. And okay, I was right to insist to have many test cycles, and I added them on top of them. And same for this physical separation. S&P proposal was to have only 2 tests. I insisted to have an extra test. So I think really an important number of test cycles are required. And what really was time consuming for us is to check the result after each test, because we did not use automation to check the test results. So for this project, we are going to start using the validate option from S&P. And okay, it was really tedious it was really taking a lot of time, more than 1 week after each test cycle, to check all the defects and work with S&P on resolution of and follow up all those defects. Constraint on BW, because we didn't use also the same software for the BW carve-out. That could have been an option. The table-based changes, they are not captured by the BW change pointer, because BW change pointers, they are using the change log of SAP. In those cases, if you do table-based, you don't have a change log. So the only way was to identify the number and the reference of the document we updated and to provide this to the BW team that needed to work on specific procedure. And okay, in the end, we were quite happy with the flexibility of the software of Crystal Bridge that allow adjustment if the data was not transformed via a SAP transaction after the table-based transformation. So this was powerful. And also, this was quick. This was really quick because during cutover, of course, we planned a business downtime of 48 hours, Saturday, Sunday. And in fact, we managed to complete all the data transformation, export plus export, during Saturday. And we had the full Sunday to do sanity check and making sure that we are opening the system in good condition. So that's what I could give you as a testimony of our usage of this Crystal Bridge software in the context of a logical carve-out. Thanks for attending the session.